everyone. So you are probably wondering what is inside this package. Well, it all has to do with the video that we're doing today. I'm going to be doing a very highly requested video, and that is how to care for a ball python and how to set up an enclosure for a ball python. Ball pythons are also known as royal pythons. So today you're going to be learning how to take care of them and finding out what is in this box. So today, while I teach you how to care for your ball python, I'm also going to be showing you how to set up an amazing enclosure that's actually really easy. Now, behind me is the enclosure that I had custom built for my ball python and my bearded dragon. However, you do not have to have this type of custom built enclosure. If you follow the instructions from this video, you can use any type of setup. You can get the Exoterra or Zoom Mid tanks from a store. So anything like that you can use. You don't have to have a custom built tank. You can if you want, but it's not part of the requirement. Okay, so a full grown ball python needs about a 40-gallon breeder tank for when it is full grown. However, as it's a baby, you probably want to start it off in a smaller tank, like a 10-gallon when it's a baby. However, mine is about a year old now, and I'm going to move it into the size of tank that it will fit into when it is full grown. I just want to get him comfortable in it already and just move him in there. This tank is going to be able to house him when he is full grown. This enclosure is a little bit bigger than what a ball python needs. It's not the minimum size requirement, but this tank is also going to be a centerpiece for this room. So I want to make sure that it looks really, really nice. So the first concern that I want to address before we even open this box is that a lot of people will tell you to keep a ball python in a really small enclosure because they feel safer that way, and if they're too exposed, they're going to feel really stressed. Now, that's true when it comes to rack and sweater boxes. However, what we're doing today is we're going to be building a bioactive terrarium for a ball python. So this can actually be a much bigger enclosure because it's going to be like the reptile's natural habitat. He's going to have a lot of places to hide. He's going to have a lot of coverage. So even though it's a big tank, he's not going to feel exposed and stressed. So I'm really not a fan of rack systems and sweater boxes because not only do they look kind of ugly, they don't give the snake that environmental enrichment. Bioactive tanks do, and I'm going to show you more about that in a few minutes. Bioactive tanks are absolutely beautiful for your home, but they are also a great thing for your reptile because they closely mimic the reptile's natural habitat. They have soil for the substrate, there's live plants, and it encourages the reptile to have natural behaviors. It really looks like you took a little piece of the forest and put it in your home. A great thing about bioactive enclosures is that they are their own little ecosystem. So you don't actually have to clean them. You don't have to be picking up the reptile poop and all of that stuff. They are self-maintaining and self-sustaining. So you don't have to do the work of cleaning the cage. There are microorganisms living inside of this tank that do the cleaning for you. And you're probably thinking, well, that sounds great, but it also sounds really difficult to do. However, it's not. It is super simple because Genesis Exotics has made it super simple so that anybody can do a bioactive enclosure in their home. So this box is from Genesis Exotics. They are going to make everything super simple so that we can get this snake into a bioactive enclosure. But I really need to stop talking and open this box. This is the biggest box I have ever received in the mail. I'm so excited to see what's in it. It's like it's opening up your Christmas present. Okay. Okay, so the first thing that we get to see when opening this box is there is cork wood. How awesome is that? Those are big pieces too. Look how big these are compared to my hand. These are absolutely awesome. Okay, let's put these to the side. Okay, and underneath that is another box that we get to open, as well as some coverage for the bottom, dried leaves, We're going to show you how to use all of this stuff in a few minutes. Oh, this is so cool. There's so much stuff in here. These are biodegradables. They are all going to be part of the ecosystem that we're building. See, everything nicely packaged for you to be able to do it yourself. Leaf litter for the floor. And another bag for the floor. And this is terra firma. This is one of the things that Genesis Exotics is known for because they have made the soil for the bioactive enclosures. Now, see, when you do a bioactive enclosure like yourself, you have to add a drainage layer to it. But they have made the soil that does not need a drainage layer. So you just can put that on. It saves you time not having to worry about the drainage layer because let me tell you, that takes up a lot of time. So this is absolutely awesome. And we got several bags of this, so I'm going to set this on the floor. This little box was inside the big one. It's like you get this extra thing to open, so let's see what's in it. And right here in this container are the springtails. Now this is part of the ecosystem. These are the little microorganisms that are going to be eating everything on the floor that you don't want to clean up, like the reptile poop, even the skin, all that stuff. These guys are your little working crew. And here are the isopods. So basically they're just going to be doing the same thing. They're also your little workers in there doing all the cleanup. They're the janitors of this ecosystem. And here, let's see if I can do this with one hand. Oh, awesome. There are some live plants in here. Okay, I'm gonna have to put this down so that I can open this. Okay, whoa, this is awesome. This is surprising. So, not what I expected. These plants are just the root. There's no like actual clump of soil around them, but this is gonna make it a lot easier to plant them. Oh, check that out. This is called golden pathos. This is actually a really awesome plant for bioactive terrariums because they are very safe for reptiles. And we got another little plant. Let's take a look at my enclosure. Now this, remember, is custom built. You do not need to have a custom built tank in order to set up a bioactive enclosure. In fact, you can buy a tank this size pretty much at any pet store, and it's going to be a lot easier because, see, mine is made out of wood. Besides a sealant, I also had to add this plastic wrap to it so that it could be protected from the water. So if you get your own tank, you don't have to worry about that. You can just put the soil in like that. And then there is a daylight up on the top running across the back of the tank. Now, if you have a ball python, they do not need a UV light because they are nocturnal. But if you do a bioactive setup, you're going to have live plants, and you do need to have a daytime light that will help the plants grow. Now, this can't just be any type of light. It does have to be a light that helps plants to grow and get what they need. Since this enclosure is so big, I went ahead and put 2 heat lamps on it. Ball pythons need a hot spot of about 85 degrees, and the cool side should not go below 75 degrees. So I went ahead and put a bigger wattage on this side and then a smaller wattage on this side. So this is going to be his warm area, and then this side over here is going to be a little bit cooler for him so that he can move around and regulate his body temperature. Watch how easy it's going to be to set up this bioactive enclosure. Everything is already done for us. We just need to put the stuff in. I'm going to start by adding the soil to the enclosure. As I was saying, many bioactive enclosures require a drainage layer. However, Genesis Exotics has developed the perfect mixture of soil that does not require the drainage layer. And this makes the setup a lot easier and a lot quicker. There are several different types of substrates that people use for ball pythons, such as wood shavings, mulch, and paper towels, but I think that soil definitely looks the nicest in your home. As I go along, I'll start figuring out where to put the plants, the water bowl, and all of the decorations. The great thing about these plants is that they're going to keep the humidity in the cage up. These snakes need a humidity of about 55 to 60%, which is typically higher than the humidity in your house. So a bioactive enclosure for reptiles and amphibians that require high humidity is great because it will definitely help you keep the humidity high enough. I'm also going to be adding his water bowl. Ball pythons enjoy sitting in their water bowl sometimes, so you want to make sure that it's big enough for them to get into. I have different heights for him that are going to add to the aesthetics of the cage. Remember too that my snake is only a year old. He'll probably outgrow some of these hides, and as an adult I may have to move some stuff around. Luckily, these are pretty sturdy plants that will hold up when he is big. And now we're going to be adding some of the leaf litter. This will help feed the microorganisms. The maple leaves can be eaten quickly, and the palm bark will take longer to break down. Of course, these terrariums take some time to get started. The first few weeks, you'll want to spot clean your cage while the organisms are establishing themselves. But in no time at all, it will take off, and you won't have to worry about cleaning it yourself. You will also want to spray the cage twice a day to keep the humidity up and water the plants. But it's really important to not overwater the plants because that will kill them. And now it's time to add the microfauna. These are the organisms that are going to be doing your tank cleaning for you. A lot of people are afraid of going bioactive with their snakes because there is this huge fear revolving around snake mites. But the great thing about going bioactive is that these organisms actually eat mite eggs and will kill off snake mites. It's an amazing system and definitely not one to be afraid of. These isopods are also commonly known as roly-polies, so you probably remember playing with them as a kid. They put the nutrients back into the soil as they feed on decaying matter. They eat decaying plant matter, keeping your plants alive and cleaning up after the reptile or amphibian. A well-established colony can even provide a food source for some reptiles. And don't worry about these bugs infesting your home. They want to stay in the terrarium because that has everything that they need right there. That is their little environment that's keeping them alive. And even if some did get out, they really can't survive in a house. Okay, I'm gonna get Jasper and see what he thinks of his new home. I'm trying to handle Jasper really lightly right now because he is shedding and he's actually not having a very good shed. Since I've had Jasper, sometimes he'll have a really good shed and sometimes it won't be too great. And it's mostly due to the fact that I am having a very hard time keeping the humidity up in the enclosure that he's in. But this bioactive terrarium is going to be wonderful for him because it's going to keep the humidity up and it's going to really help him shed. I soak Jasper, but he doesn't like it when I take him out to soak. So now he's going to be able to do that all by himself. He's going to be able to soak in here and it's going to be humid, so he's not going to have the trouble shedding like he is having now. So I'm really happy to put him in here knowing that he is going to be happier and it is going to make him healthier. Ball pythons eat about once a week. They can eat mice or rats depending on the size of the ball python, but I will get more into how to feed a snake in another video. Jasper seems to be loving his bioactive enclosure, as am I. It looks absolutely beautiful. It's going to make an awesome centerpiece for this room. I am really excited to have this cage. If you want to set up your own bioactive enclosure for your reptiles, be sure to visit genesisexotics.com. They can help you set up a bioactive enclosure for snakes, geckos, frogs, any type of reptile really. You can also check them out on their YouTube channel, which will be linked down below. Thanks for watching this video, and if you do want to see more reptile videos, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more pet related videos. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. See you guys next time. Bye!